Hey guys, it's Joe from the Richland Adventures, and it has finally happened. I have hit almost 600 miles. It's 599.5. By the time I get ready to go to work tomorrow and I come back, it will be well over 600. And in case you guys are not tracking, we have to do the very service maintenance in these bikes. It's right at 600 miles. After that, you have to do it every 2,500 miles. But I am part of some Facebook groups for the Ruckus, and lately I saw that there is a guy out there that has a 22,000 mile Ruckus from, like, I believe 2005, and he said that what he did is he did an oil change every 1,000 miles. So that's something to keep in mind. As of right now, I will do my 600-mile service real quick, and after that, I might not wait until the 2,500 miles. Maybe I'll just do 1,500 or something. But definitely something to keep in mind. You know, it's a Honda. If you take care of it, it will last forever, and that's a for sure thing on these things. So I know there's a 600-mile service. What do I do? Well, I check the manual, right? So that's the very first thing you guys will need to check. Check your manual. Some things we're gonna need today, real quick. We're gonna need a half-inch ratchet, small extension if you want to. You might actually need it for the oil. I need a 17 socket, a 12, and a 10 mil. As well, I did buy the genuine Honda oil. I didn't really have to. You all you have to do is get a 4-stroke 10W30 oil for anything, but it's so cheap. I actually got a 2-pack from Amazon. It was really cheap, so I'm just gonna get it, the original, no big deal. As well, you need a small trade or anything you have. Tupperware will work too, to catch the oil. Matter of fact, I just did my Ridgeline oil change, and I didn't record it because I couldn't. But anyhow, I have this thing halfway full. I was trying to use this for this video, but it's too tall. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you need to do your oil change on the Ruckus. You definitely need something small because the opening is actually right here, and there is no room to really put anything else. So a small tray of any sort will be awesome and easy. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, so like I was telling you guys, all you need to do is really check your manual, and at least in mine, on page 38, that's the service maintenance. So the way you read this is you have all your tasks right here. You have the level of skill, I guess, maintenance level. And just to keep in mind, Honda, just like anybody out there, they are a company. So of course they're gonna say that simple things like an oil change, they should be done by the dealership. And of course, you know, they want to charge for it. So I don't really pay too much attention to this levels of maintenance because, like I said, any dealership wants you to go there and pay, for example, for the Ridgeline, instead of like paying $160 for an oil change, you can do yourself for like 50 or 60 bucks. But anyhow, that's nor here nor there. All right, the way you read this is at the top, you have what your odometer should be reading. So 0.6 times 1,000 miles, what that means is 600 miles. So that's the very first service that you need to do. That's what we're doing here today. And it says right here, initial 600 miles or 1 month, which I'll be honest with you, I did not respect the time. I just did my 600 miles. It took me from July, August, September, October. So it took me 3 months. Whoopsie. I guess I'll pay more attention to that. But the way you read that now is under the category of 600 miles, you go down and you go like here, and you know, okay, so now I need to do idle, engine idle speed. Cool. So I have to do that. Also move on to the second page and you keep going right here. All right, so I have the brake system, and right here I have the brake lock operation, and here I have the nuts and bolts and fastener and steering. And how do you know what that I means? You go to the maintenance legend. Let me see, focus right here, and it's an inspection. You inspect, clean, adjust, lubricate as desired. Okay, this is very simple. The main thing that you really have to do with these bikes for the services is the engine oil. That's what you really care about. But let's go through it real quick, all right? For the engine idle speed, if you ever have issues with that, the way you do it is, a matter of fact, I took off my bag because I need to show you, but the way you do it is you will turn on the bike, and if you guys see this tiny hole right here, and there is a screw down there. So the way you will do it is you put your screwdriver down there, and as the bike is on, you can either go counterclockwise or the other way, left or right. And if you go right, the bike will idle a little bit faster. If you go left, it's less. So if you ever feel like that your bike is gonna stall or anything right before or like when you're stopping or anything, this is where you need to come. Just go here, give it a little bit ooga doogas to the right until it gets to the right specs or to your feel. All right, and I did that off camera right now. Not trying to be loud, it's getting dark, but done. That is done. That's the inspection, I did it. The brake system is the next one, all right? So the brake system in this is also really simple. What you need to read on the manual is that you should double check this. This should be at 3/8 of the distance before it catches. So that's one. And you also do this one, 3/8 of speed before it catches between here and here. So it's right here, and it should catch. So I already done that too. Matter of fact, I did it right before this service because I felt like this was a little loose, like it was really loose. So if you ever have that problem or during these checks, all you have to do is, so you go here, you go to the wheel, and these cables are basically the cables that go all the way to the brakes. And the way you do this is, if you go right, it's basically righty, and if you go left, it's lefty loosey, right? So if you go right, if you give it one turn, what you're doing is you're moving this lever that is basically pulling the cable of the brake. So it's kind of like whenever you used to adjust your bicycle, it's the same exact principle. So if you feel like it's too loose, then you go to the right. If you feel like it's too tight, then you loosen it up by going to the left. The same thing with the back. It has the same system. So if you feel like whenever you're braking, it's just too tight, then you go to the left. And then if not, you go to the right. And it's that simple, right? So as you can see, this thing is really easy. So I got that done. Then the brake lock operation. The brake lock operation is nothing but this thing, which if I didn't show you in my initial video, you pull this, and now this is the handbrake. Like if you have it in your car, when you pull it, that's all it is. So what you're doing is you're inspecting it to make sure that it catches and like the bike will move. I have already done all that before, and that's good to go as well. And nuts and bolts, all right? So with the nuts and bolts, it's an inspection. So what they're referring it to is that you go around the whole bike, and if you see like this bolts on the frame, this ones, anything around, like right here, you know, the bike is always vibrating and you are down the road. So what they want you to do is give it a couple ugadugas if needed. So you're basically so with these little ones, that's why I told you that you need a 10 mil, because like with these little ones, it's a 10 mil. But for these medium-sized ones, I discovered they're like 12. So you go around the whole bike, you check whatever nuts and bolts there is, any vibration things like this, you can check on this one. So you go around the whole bike, tighten them up. And of course, I'm not gonna show you guys during my video, that's just a waste of time, but I got that done. And then the steering head bearings, as far as my understanding went, I actually have to watch a video for that, but you are basically looking that the steering is straight. You're visually looking, there is nothing loose or anything over here. Oh yeah, this would be one of the most important bolts that you have to tighten out whenever you're doing the bolts, because obviously that is your how your tire is attached to this. So that's it. That's as simple as that. So the main thing that we're looking now, it's the oil change. The way you do the oil change is, for this time, it's very simple. We have to get our tray under here, and this is this is our drain bolt. So we're gonna undo that real quick. And before you do that, what you want to do is you want to take the dipstick and you want to loosen it up. And you don't have to take it out completely, but what I'm doing is basically giving air passage so my oil drains faster. That's all I'm doing, all right? So let me put this on a tripod and I'll show you guys exactly how that goes. Stay tuned. All right, cool. So I'm ready to drain the oil. And for this job, you will need a 17 mil socket with a extension and your ratchet. So you get it in here and do it. Cool. And as you see, I'm using a glove. I don't like getting dirty. I do the same thing when I'm doing the ridge line. So at this point, you want to do this and be as quick as possible. There's gonna be a washer that is coming up. So grab the washer and boom, get that oil out of there. So you can see the washer. If you see any videos online, anybody will always tell you to replace the washer that it comes with it because you're supposed to, but I never do unless it's something wrong with it. And after, I don't know, 20 years of doing oil changes, I have never really used a new one. So it is what it is. As you can see, this drainage was pretty quick. What I'm doing right now is taking out 0.6 quarts of fluid. So I will just replace it with 0.6 out of that. Very simple. So let me pause that. I'm gonna let that finish draining. Clean this up real quick, and we'll finish up this quick service. So just to give you a better look real quick while it's draining, that is the draining hole. It's finishing up right now. I'm going to place this back as it was, washer and all. And as long as you don't go beast mode, you'll be all right. Just give it a nice tug, and that's about it. You can definitely use a torque wrench if you like to. I think it's 12 pounds, I believe. But anyway, I do not have one. I never bought one. Just keep in mind, it's an aluminum block like anything out there. So just give it a nice tug, don't overdo it, and you'll be all right. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'm gonna show you guys the rest. All right, guys, so now I'm in the other side of the bike, and all I have to do now is remove the dipstick, put it on the side, and like I was telling you, because we're not replacing everything else, there's a screen that you actually do later on the next services, but because we're not doing that, what we're replacing is 0.6 quarters, which, as you know, each quart will have about 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way to 10, which is 1 quart. So just a quick math is, if I'm putting in 0.6, that means in this bottle I'm wanting to have 0.4 left. So I'm putting all the way from 0.4 and up. So what I'm gonna need, what you're really gonna need for this job is a long funnel. I already have that because I do the Ridgeline oil changes, and that's very helpful. So good. I'm gonna do is put it from my last service, I'm gonna put it right in here, and little by little I'll be dumping the oil to make sure I get to 0.4 left in the bottle, which will be 0.6. And once we do that, we'll do the rest. So I'm gonna do that off camera because there's no point for you guys to be looking at that for a couple minutes, and then we'll finish this up. All right, guys, mission accomplished. 0.6 quarts of oil went in it. So what we do have left now is grab your dipstick, you wipe it clean real quick, and just a note, the bike is obviously in a level surface, but the way you check this oil per the manual, you put this in and you do not screw it. What you actually do is you take it out now and we check it. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but I'm right there. Let me see. I'm gonna show you again. I don't know if the camera is gonna pick up, but there, rested, nothing else. Boom, real quick. And the level, in case you can see it, is right here. Right here. So it can be all the way up, all the way down, but it's right in the middle. So I am good with that verification. What I'm going to do is screw this to make sure I am good to go. A good practice will be, if you got anything dirty while you were working, make sure you clean all the surfaces. Clean any oil that you might have gotten in the bike or the floor, obviously. And as you guys can see, this is the easiest service ever. It have taken me 18 minutes on the video simply because I'm explaining things, I'm stopping. But honestly, if I wasn't recording, I can tell I could probably do this in 5 minutes or less. So thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. I have hit over 100 followers in the last couple of months when I got a little serious about posting. I have a lot more coming. I don't want this channel to just be Ruckus Ridgeline. I got into smoking meat and turkeys and stuff like that, so I'm gonna do some of that. But I do appreciate everybody that has followed me, and everybody that every time I post something, they're commenting and saying something nice to me. I appreciate it. No, I'm just your average guy. I thought about joining YouTube for a little while, and I never did it. So I'm trying to change that this year, and I appreciate everybody's kind words, and just keep on going, guys. The year's almost over. Today is November 1st. I'm gonna post this, and I appreciate everybody. All right, see you later. Hope up with you.